Hello everyone, and welcome to my very first movie review. Fast and the Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. It is the 8th? 9th? How many fucking movies did they make of these? Hobbs and Shaw is the 9th installment of the Fast and the Furious movie franchise, and it is by far the most grand one ever. I gotta tell you guys, I was unironically and unapologetically really excited for this movie. I mean, how do you look at this and not just get so hyped? This movie stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Jason Statham as the titular characters, as well as Vanessa Kirby and Idris Elba as some side characters. Idris Elba plays a genetically modified superhuman. He says so even in the trailer. He is a cyborg, essentially. They don't really explain too much about that. They just kind of tell you that he is enhanced with machinery. And you're just supposed to buy into that. So they show us a little bit, but you're not really supposed to care or think about this kind of thing with this type of movie. The plot of this movie is that Vanessa Kirby is framed of stealing a very deadly super virus, and then Hobbs and Shaw are tasked with tracking her down and bringing her to justice. But after they realize that she is actually not involved in any way, they decide to take on the real big bad guy, Idris Elba. I gotta say, guys, this movie has the biggest stakes of any Fast and the Furious movie I have ever seen. I guess it's not technically a Fast and the Furious movie, it's a spin-off of those movies, but still. You gotta wonder how we got here from the very first movie, which was street racing. It's really kind of an interesting progression, if I do say so myself. Listen, if you've seen the trailers for this movie, you know exactly what it is going into it. You know if you're gonna like it or not. If you like the original Fast and the Furious movie, like #1, and you really like the street racing aspect about that, you're probably not going to like this movie. I mean, they have the obligatory 3 chase scenes so that it can technically constitute as a Fast and the Furious movie, but other than that, it's pretty action heavy. The story doesn't make any sense, but, it's fine. It's just an action movie. People go different places just to beat other people up, and we expect that. Some of the fight scenes were a little hard to follow, and some of the humor didn't land. There's some, pretty spotty toilet humor and all that. It kind of really feels like The Rock and Jason Statham were just kind of riffing off of each other, which worked for the most part because, I mean, those guys are so charismatic and they have terrific chemistry with each other. In fact, everybody in the film performs pretty well for what they are. Idris Elba, he's just kind of a mindless drone enemy to throw in to have somebody for The Rock and Jason Statham to beat up, but he brought so much charisma to the role. He's just monologuing and oozing so much of this charisma. You can really feel what his ideology is, how stupid it might be. But the movie just keeps building and building. Like it has one huge fight scene, and then it just goes to the next huge fight scene, and then finally the climax is just absolute insanity. It's really something to behold, honestly. You're going to have your family themes. Those are deeply ingrained in the Fast and the Furious movies. So this one kind of just seemed thrown in, aside from the fact that Vanessa Kirby plays Jason Statham's sister in the film. That's, tied directly into the family theme. But then the final act just kind of has The Rock returning to an estranged family in Samoa. So that kind of seemed a little thrown in, they set it up very briefly in the very beginning, but they just kind of threw it in there to kind of wrap all together these family ties kind of shtick that they've been going for the past however many years they've been making these movies. I gotta say, guys, The Rock, honestly, he should have died like 5 times in this movie. There's just some things that happen that it's just like no normal human could walk away from this, which kind of supports the theory that I have that all of the main characters of the Fast and the Furious franchise are just kind of superhuman and they don't realize it yet. One thing I can say is that there were some visually unique aspects of the film. It wasn't completely just reshot type things. It kept my eye anyway. It wasn't as bland as some other action movies. There was a little bit of hypercutting, which, as I said earlier, the fight scenes were a little tough to follow, but other than that, most of it was pretty good. Alright, I'm going to talk about spoilers now, so if you just want to hear my rating and not hear any spoilers, you can jump to this time card, and here we go. So, I find it kind of odd that there was, like, really big celebrities in this movie that we didn't know about. Like, Ryan Reynolds shows up as kind of a main character in the very beginning of the film, and he wasn't present in the marketing at all. He's kind of hit or miss, too, because he kind of brings like a Deadpool humor to the movie, which again, some of his jokes land, but some of them are just so painfully unfunny in my opinion. And then again, right in the middle of the movie, we get Kevin Hart. I feel like The Rock is just kind of bringing on people that he likes and to star in these movies with him, because Kevin Hart just shows up and he's kind of an integral part of the climax of the film simply because of he's a means of transportation from one area to the other, which is what this film is full of, is just vista hopping essentially. But I don't know, it just seems kind of strange. It's obvious to me that they're trying to set them up as like their own crew, like Hobbs Shaw, and then Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Hart, they're going to star in another one of these movies that are going to come out. And that's another thing. There was like 3 end credit stingers. You don't need that many, okay? Like, one is good enough. Even one, you don't need one. Just put what your teaser or whatever at the very end of the movie. Come on. Like, okay, Marvel did it, you know, they were successful for it. But 3, they only had 2. And now you're going to put 3 at the end? It's overkill and ridiculous. It really bothered me. I'm sorry. I just couldn't get over it. I was sat there for like so much extra time because there was these 3 extra credit scenes, and they're not even pointless except for setting up a sequel that we're gonna get because this movie is just gonna do gangbusters. But yeah, overall, I would say that I liked it pretty much as I was expecting to like it. I would give it probably a 3 out of 5. I haven't quite chosen my rating system yet. I think I might go with 1 out of 5, 1 out of 10. I don't know. I'll figure it out as I go along. Hopefully I cleaned up the aspect ratio problem from the first video. I'm still kind of learning this as I go along, but I think I figured it out. If not, you can just berate me down in the comments. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. This is my very first movie review. I thought I'd try it out. I want to do more of these in the future, obviously. If you liked the art in the thumbnail, that was done by a close friend of mine, Aaron Dwyer. I'll have his links in the description. If you're watching this video, then you probably already know about his artwork, but if not, I'll drop it down there, a link anyway, so you can go and check out his stuff. I highly recommend it. I really love his stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you guys later.